Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on our good friends over at Green Man Gaming, who have kicked off their All-Star sale with a lot of great deals available across the board at a wide variety of price ranges. Gonna highlight some of these deals. Obviously, as always, you guys, this is the tip of the iceberg as far as everything that's available. There's a lot of good stuff, so let's just get right into it. I want to highlight around 10 or so deals, but again, a ton of great stuff is available that will, we'll get to throughout the while that it is live. Right off the top, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, 87% off for $2.55. I know at some point you guys are gonna get absolutely sick of me mentioning this game, and you know what? Maybe that day has already come to pass, but for the three of you that are watching this video and don't own Sleeping Dogs, remedy that fact ASAP. Go buy it for $2.55 because this is such a great deal on such a great game. An open world, gritty crime story, a great main character, great narrative all around. Hand-to-hand combat is well done. You got the DLC in here as well for $2.55. Great pickup there. Certainly would give that a recommendation. Next up, we got Dragon's Dogma 2. 30% off for $49.27. Now, that is expensive for Dragon's Dogma 2. However, this is a game that just came out back in March of this year, and more importantly, it's been holding up in price. It's been, down to like $56 on Steam, and that was the discount. You've been getting 20% off. Dogma 2, to be perfectly honest, was not my cup of tea. It was not a game that really clicked with me, and I wanted to like it a lot, but just not a game that I really enjoyed. And I'm sure, some of the elements of the game that are a bit of a throwback is going to be the elements that draw a lot of people in and make them end up enjoying this game. For me, it pushed me away, and I didn't vibe with it as much. I had a bunch of friends that really enjoyed it, but it was very much a case of a dividing opinion. I had friends that really did not get into Dogma 2. I had friends that got super into Dogma 2. So it is what it is. If you want to check it out for yourself, that's a pretty good price point. Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy. This is a stupid good deal given that you get Tomb Raider 2013, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider with the DLC content. $12.72 for this. You guys might know I'm a little bit of a fanboy when it comes to the new Tomb Raider titles. I think it's one of the best franchises in all of gaming right now. And yes, maybe you can say it's one of those franchises that, it's a lower IQ franchise. That's what my boys like to call it. It doesn't take a lot to get into the action-adventure, puzzle-solving, platforming that Tomb Raider is going to offer you, but guess what? It's right up my alley. I thought ROTR was the strongest game in the series. Tomb Raider 2013 and SOTR are both really good. SOTR kind of falters from a narrative standpoint, but all three titles for $12.72, definitely a good pickup there. Street Fighter 6, the base game, 56% off for $26.40. Great price for Street Fighter 6, a game that I really enjoyed, and that's coming from somebody that doesn't have a lot of care in the world for fighting games these days. Fighting games are not my cup of tea in terms of these technically nuanced fighting games that have a lot of depth to them, and, people go try hard. Sweat mode is activated for a lot of people. That's not really my style these days, but with Street Fighter 6, I thought it had a really solid campaign component. I thought the visuals, the presentation, the soundtrack, all of those elements were really well done. Obviously, being that it is a fighting game, there is quite a bit of DLC content, so keep that in mind, but the base game for $26.40 I think is quite good. Next up, Borderlands 3, the base game is $5.22. Feel like I have to mention it just because of how cheap it is. Now, obviously, Borderlands 3 is another game that does have quite a bit of DLC. You can get the Ultimate Edition, but that is $21.75, so a lot bit more expensive to say the least, but nonetheless, $5.22 for the base game I think is a pretty good buy. And even if I wasn't crazy about Borderlands 3, you know what? The gameplay loop is still going to be something that people end up enjoying. And it's going to be something that people are still going to be able to have a good time with. I mean, Borderlands is Borderlands at the end of the day. I just think I'm a jaded old man these days, and the comedy with Borderlands doesn't hit home with me. That's why I ain't going out to see the Borderlands movie. Although there's a lot of reasons to not go out and see that. But the gameplay is still something that I very much enjoy. I like the art style. $5.22 seems like a no-brainer there. Stalker Bundle, Stalker Call of Pripyat, Clear Sky, and Shadow of Chernobyl, $8 for this. mean, that's a pretty good buy. The games are certainly not going to be for everyone in the sense that they do have a little bit of realism to it, a little bit of hardcore element to it, and it doesn't really hold your hand, but very enjoyable games. We got S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 coming out in November. Hopefully that game turns out well, because there's a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation surrounding that, so fingers crossed on that one. Just Cause 3 XXL Edition, 88% off for $3.57. I mean, as far as open world mayhem and open world fun goes, Just Cause 3 is one of the best experiences you're gonna have. This game was an absolute train wreck of a PC port when it came out back in 2015, but thankfully we are 9 years removed from that, and the game these days is quite effing good. And if you're looking for a no-nonsense open world title, you ain't gonna get emotionally gripped with the narrative of one Rico Rodriguez, but what you are gonna do is blow a lot of things up, and guess what? That's a lot of fun when it comes to Just Cause 3. XCOM 2 The Collection, 93% off for $6.96. A great price for XCOM 2. You get War of the Chosen here as well, and a couple of other DLC packs. I think XCOM 2 was great. Had some technical issues at PC at launch. A lot of that has been remedied now, but the game itself is quite good as far as tactics games go. If you're into the genre, you're really gonna like it, and I've said it before, but I'm not super into tactics games, and XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM 2 were two titles that did win me over. Next up, we got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, 83% off for $10.08. Fantastic deal for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is an unfortunate case of, you know, a Marvel title that came out, and there have been a lot of Marvel titles that have come out that hasn't done all too well commercially. Critically, it did fairly well, but commercially left a lot to be desired by the looks of it from Square Enix, and it's unfortunate because the game turned out to be really good. I had no care in the world for Guardians of the Galaxy, and, you know, my introduction to them was via this video game, and I had a great time with it. Relatively lengthy campaign. Great visual, soundtrack was solid, voice acting is really good, narrative's decent, although, you know, obviously with Guardians, it's gonna have its fair share of comedy, but overall, for $10 and change, that's a great price. Mafia Trilogy, Mafia Definitive Edition, Mafia 2, and Mafia 3, $13.05. Great trilogy of games. Mafia 1, I still think, is really good, and the Definitive Edition is a ground-up remake, but, you know, from a gameplay standpoint, it's a very basic cover-based, you know, third-person shooter. I thought narratively it's really good. Mafia 2 is quite good, although that remastering is a little bit meh. And Mafia 3, the weakest of the trilogy, but still fairly good. It's just the open world that Mafia 3 goes for was honestly more of a detractor to the experience rather than enhancing the experience, which is a little bit unfortunate, but $13.05 for that, pretty good. No Man's Sky, 66% off for $20.40. I mean, this is a game that Hello Games has been updating very consistently. You've gotten a lot of content updates, and the thing is, you buy this now for $20 and change, and this is gonna pay dividends. You're gonna get an experience that's gonna get free updates for I don't know how long, but for a while longer. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job of keeping this game updated. As somebody that paid $60 for this game back in 2016 when it came out and felt absolutely robbed, these days you're getting a fairly high-quality experience that's going to get consistently updated. Skyrim is $8.50. It is Skyrim. I don't got to sell you more on that. Lies of P is 44% off for $33.59. Now, obviously, if you talk about action RPGs today, Black Myth is the one that everybody's covering, and Lies of P very much a Souls-like. Great setting, great ambiance to it. For $33.59, that's a pretty good deal. Pacific Drive, wanted to give a shout to that. $14.39 on that. Awesome atmosphere, awesome setting, awesome visuals, just not a big fan of survival games, and I couldn't get into Pacific Drive as much, but if you're into the genre, you're probably going to have an enjoyable experience crafting and all that stuff. Remnant 2 Ultimate Edition finally is $28.70. The DLC for this is about to drop. Remnant 2 is really well received, so, you know, the Ultimate Edition includes all the DLC. There have already been 2 pieces of DLC that have dropped, The Awakened King and The Forgotten King. The Awakened, I'm probably messing up the names, but you got the idea. You got the 2 DLCs that are already out, and you'll get the 3rd DLC that's about to come out. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Links to everything in the description box below. If you buy anything, I do get an affiliate kickback, and that is much appreciated. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and yeah, check out the links in the description box below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.